This video is going to be not directly related in every way to running, but it's everything to do with running, because as we get older as people, life doesn't get easier. Sorry to tell you that. It can get a lot harder. And whilst I'd like to tell you that the meek inherit the earth, in my experience and looking at the future, is the meek don't inherit the earth, the resilient inherit the earth. And I was reminded of the alley fight with George Foreman, the rumble in the jungle. And for those of you who don't know, Ali was thought to be the massive underdog in the fight because Foreman was an absolute beast. I mean, if you don't know, go and look. The man's massive. He still is massive. But not only was he massive, he was mean. Mean as mean. And Ali was thought to be, on the wane. And but Ali had his tactics, which was to kind of irritate Foreman and then wear him out, rope-a-dope as it was called at the time. And then when he thought Foreman was getting tired, he stepped forward and knocked Foreman out, which was incredible. And somehow life's a bit like that. When life comes at you, sometimes you can't go toe-to-toe with it. Sometimes you just haven't got that option. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. Sometimes you've got to go rope-a-dope, and you've just got to, as long as you don't go down, and you keep on your feet, when you see that little life just backing off a bit, you move forward. You move forward. Because ultimately, always being on the back foot means that if every time life shoves you, you move back, one day there's nowhere else to move back to. However, sometimes stuff just doesn't come in equal amounts, does it? And whilst it's motivational to say, yeah, you can overcome this, sometimes you've got to do your own version of rope-a-dope. You've got to be on those ropes and life's hitting you and it's a big, mean thing. And you just got to go, I'm going to stay on my feet. I'm going to stay on my feet. And then life just keeps doing it. And then you've got that moment where you step forward and you punch life as hard as you can on the nose, whatever that means to you. Because, rope-a-dope for a certain amount of time, but it can't be that forever and ever and ever. Because you've got to step forward. I have an analogy that I think of life. I think life's a bully. And every now and again, life will come up to you and go, and give you a push. And you might go, oh. And if you go, oh, then life goes, oh, hello. Looks like there's a little bit of weakness there. I'll give it another push. But when life gives you a push, you give it a push back. Then life's like, all right, okay, all right. There's easier people to deal with than you. I'll go over there, I think. Silly analogy, but it's in my head. Because you can't avoid hard times. And I think we're sold an idea, particularly as us older guys and women, that, life's going to get easier. Keep working hard and then you'll get to this stage and there's this nirvana at the end. And then it's not, because you've got perhaps family, parents that you've got to deal with, or, loved ones. And my wife had cancer in lockdown. You've got stuff to deal with. And what's this got to do with running? It's got everything to do with running, because running is life, in my opinion. It's an analogy, it's a metaphor for life. Especially endurance running, it's so tough. Sometimes the run pushes you, doesn't it? You go, are you up to this? And you've got to say either no, and yes, training helps. Of course it does. Makes you harder, tougher. But that resolve, sometimes you are doing your version of rope-a-dope when you are, running, aren't you? You are on the road. But long as you don't go down, long as you don't stop, long as you don't give up. And that is life. So if you're struggling and, or you've been struggling, or you are wondering if this is going to end, I can't tell you. What I can tell you is to keep on your feet. Do your version of rope-a-dope. Do what you need to do. Step back if you need to step back. Take time, look after yourself, but keep on your feet, because it will turn. It will turn. And when it does turn, when life takes a breath and goes, you move forward and you punch life hard on the nose. Really hard on the nose. And you start stepping forward. You start dictating what you want to do next. And you move forward. And there will come another time where you will have to step back. That's the world you live in. Life is tough. It's like I heard a saying the other day, this is what hard feels like. I think it's Homosic, a guy called Homosic, who said, this is what hard feels like. Think about that. It's a great quote. Because once you understand that, once you know that, this is what hard feels like. Ali must have known that. Ali must have known, trained to know this is what hard feels like. And he accepted that. And it turned for him. And then he knocked Foreman out. Now, you can't knock life out. But you can give it a punch on the nose. But if you have to do your rope-a-dope, you do your rope-a-dope. You do it. Hope this has helped. If it helps, great. If it doesn't, there's another video that somebody's going to go, oh, it's no use, what's that doing on a running channel? It's not about tempo running. It's not the way I see running. I see it as, should have called it Zen running, because I just see it as more than just running. But anyway, bye for now.